shit kick ass. What's up, Heathens?
What's going on?
We got our buddy in our studio today. My friend Brady Moore's come in to discuss some stupid shit.
Talk out of my ass for a
Talk
little while
awesome.
with you
Just
guys.
talk about some fun stuff.
we probably had
Yeah.
15 good minutes before
Yeah,
this.
it was,
Y'all should.
that's what we've been talking about doing. Is when people come in, we sit down, record right away.
Get it.
Because we get so many good conversations that start at the beginning that we should have really recorded.
You know, I saw a documentary about the Stones, and they had like all this backstage footage or whatever, and it's called a Crossfire Hurricane. I don't know if you ever saw it. It was
I'm
on
gonna check
HBO.
that out. Though I didn't know.
It's
know
pretty
there was
good.
One.
But what all it is, and you realize when you're watching it, and it's kind of like goes back to what we were just talking about, is they're 18, 19-year-old kids with more money than they know how to spend, and people are like, "Hey, there's a video camera, and you can just." Just film whatever the hell you want
to do.
You know, it's $4,000, and everybody else is like, "Well, we can't get that." But the Stones are like, "Fuck it, we're going on tour. Let's get that."
What
And
could
so
go wrong?
It's them
Why
like
not?
snorting cocaine off of like big ass Jim Bowie knives, and like just chugging whiskey and doing all kinds of.
And they're
I
kids.
have
Like,
no
that
idea.
somebody should have got arrested for.
Yeah.
They took advantage of these guys. Really, when you do that.
They just have like an assortment of colored powders, and they're like just like hitting themselves in the face with it, and like then they go out on stage, and they couldn't do it. You could not get a documentary about. You're not going to get that documentary about Lady Gaga or Taylor Swift one day. Like in 2040, that's not going to come out. Like Taylor Swift, like holding a knife to her boyfriend's throat, like,
Exactly.
break up with me. I need inspiration. Just like that never will happen because we live in a world now where everybody's so conscious about cameras, and the Stones are like, oh, we'll just keep these in our thing, and like there's like whatever. And
Why not?
That's rock and roll, though, man. That's
Part
like,
of rock
fuck it,
and
we're gonna
roll.
do. I like that they kept doing the shit on camera.
Damn
they
right.
didn't care. Yeah,
Who
they were the
cares?
Stones. They
The goddamn Rolling Stones.
yeah. Part of the footage is they were getting arrested by like London or England. London's not a country. For drug trafficking or something crazy because they got caught with like weed in the airport in Tokyo, and so they like spent the night in jail there.
This
And
is the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, and I'm probably butchering this, but anyways, they come back from Japan, and when they get back, England already hates the Stones because they're the black hats. Like the Beatles are the white hats, like love, happiness. And the Stones are like fuck everybody.
Right.
Talking about coming in their songs and stuff.
That's
in the
true.
60s. You're
That's
like,
true.
did they just say come on his
I mean,
face?
fucking which album is it where it's just Mick Jagger's crotch and you can see? I mean, you can see his dick through his pants.
Mick Jagger
yeah.
had
That's-
a weird
That's
career.
he's a weird man.
Yeah, he
He's a
went like
strange
to
man.
an asexual period in the
Yes.
80s and shit too.
Yeah,
but-
him and David Bowie.
Yeah, they're doing that video like, already, like in the street, and they're doing that stupid dance and shit. Yeah,
Yes.
but
It's fucked up because I like David Bowie and I love the Rolling Stones, but that song is just like,
Nope. That's where I draw the line.
what the fuck are you guys doing?
Could y'all do me a favor and just stop? Just, yeah, there wasn't anybody on set like, are y'all watching this?
That's
like,
what I always
look at these
think.
guys. Like,
I forgot what band it was, but that made me reminded me like that there was a big band that used to be a big proponent of the drug trade. They used to bring in shit from these other countries through their speakers, through their
shit.
sound equipment. Yeah, they used to put.
You don't know what band this
I
is?
can't remember the fucking band.
it was probably a roadie.
No, it was a road.
Listen,
There's
I
a
need to talk to
documentary
you
on
guys
it.
I
about
need to see
something.
that.
There's a documentary. I'll figure that out and
The
tell you about
FBI's
that.
coming. I told them that it's all y'all's idea for immunity. So
Just a roadie.
yeah.
I feel like it was Pink Floyd, man. I really
Well,
do.
that could be
I
possible.
really do. Like it was a lot of marijuana, mostly.
They were maniacs though back then. They didn't. That was the whole drive to that was like anti. Now it's nostalgic. Like oh, it's a Rolling Stone. Like it's 70-year-old Mick Jagger gyrating around on stage.
Gyrating
like,
around, very much so.
What is that guy doing? But back to the documentary. I'll finish this real quick.
Yeah.
They get arrested. They're walking around with a camera because they're on acid, walking through a freshly done bush maze like you see in the movie The Shining.
Oh,
that
badass.
Mick Jagger had done. And they're just walking around laughing their asses off and like dropping the camera and then like 40 bobbies. You know, the dudes, black
The cops.
hats. Yeah, they look like they're
Or,
like military.
yeah.
They can't carry guns, and they got clubs. Like, I'm
Clubs.
hit you. You know, like,
I'm gonna hit you.
Get
with
back
that.
here. Looks like what Bugs Bunny dresses up as a cop.
Yeah.
That's it.
the people,
Ridiculous.
the Islamic terrorists or whatever, you know, the people that are doing the knife attacks in
Yeah,
Europe,
yeah.
in the countries where the cops don't carry guns. I was reading a deal where they just started figuring out, like, oh, well, their baton is 14 inches long, so I'm going to get a 16-inch long blade. And then I'll just stick him while he's trying to whop me, and I'd much rather be whopped than stuck. You know what I mean?
I think
for
it's
sure.
yeah, I think a whopping is much better.
I need to give them, like, swords, like those.
Something like
a
why don't they
real
have knives at least?
Bring back samurais, but just make them, you know, like
Fucking
street
back the
regulators. where they just
samurais.
stand there, like,
British samurai.
Yeah.
Bring back the
cop
motherfucking
soldiers.
samurais.
Well,
watch
Britain's
that
got
movie.
those dudes
for sure.
that just play dress up. They wear a costume to work every day. The red guys with a big hat, like,
Oh, yeah,
you know, that
yeah,
guy
yeah.
sits like after year 20. You know, he started out, he's great. He told it, hey, I'm one of the red guys. I can talk. You know? And then year 20, he's like putting his boots on, like, God damn,
I gotta
go
again.
back to that fucking place where the kids are gonna, hey, in my face all day.
That's
like,
gonna happen. Well, let's just talk about that in a closer, a little closer to home. What about the police? They got to do that every day. They got to see all this stupid shit from day to day. Go to the next call, holding on to whatever the fuck happened before then, and. You said they got to do that for 20 years. The year 20 comes around, they putting their boots on. Fuck, I gotta do this again.
gotta do this
Now
again.
imagine all the shit that those cops have seen in those 20 years on a day-to-day basis,
And they're still putting their boots
still
on the
putting
next
them
day.
fucking boots on, and they got to go out there and try to do a civil service.
Well, that's because we have the police's job has been, and the word abuse sounds like it's a nefarious term. I guess it would be spread so thin, maybe that
They are spread thin.
but
They're
they're
spread thin.
regulators and cops. So most people, when you see a cop and he changes 3 lanes across Kell to get behind you, and you're like, oh my God, what's he doing? I'm doing everything okay. What's he doing? Hey man, why are you pulling behind? He hasn't done anything wrong, but he's fixing to do something negative to you. Well, people that have negative connotations toward the police for whatever reason, if you talk to them, a lot of times, unless they've been beaten on video on YouTube, I got pulled over by a cop and he gave me a ticket when I was going 67 and 65. Of
course,
well,
but you were
that cop
speeding.
should have never. Well, that shouldn't have. Why did the police? Why did a guy with a gun have to be sitting in a car waiting for him? Why couldn't there be, at this point in stage, a robot, the same one that reads my VINs on toll roads,
Yep,
that reads my VIN when I go through it going 85, and in a month I get a ticket?
You know-
and I mean, how often do car accidents are they avoided because police caught somebody going 120? You can't prove that number, but how many times, if you slap people, I don't speed ever, because at a young age I figured out, well, when I drive 70, I get there about, on a long trip, about 20 minutes longer
Right.
than it takes me when I drive 80, and I'm sweating bullets, like, oh shit, is that a cop? Is that a cop? Oh no, I'm cool. Fly haul ass, oh shit, is that a cop? Is that a cop? You know, and
We definitely need police on our streets. I mean, for traffic reasons, just for the main fact of somebody's doing something illegal, a camera's going to catch them, and they're going to get a ticket a month later. Well, that cop could have stopped them from killing somebody 30 minutes after that.
maybe,
But I think Brady's
if,
point
let's
is
say
that-
Both. We
let's
should
say that
integrate
same
both. Yeah,
car
for sure.
goes through 2 passes, and because you can do
Because
shit
you see 'em
nowadays, you
doing
go through
illegal
those 2
things.
passes, and you can't tell me that there's not some system that exists where they could capture your cell phone number as you go through there and give you a text message, say you just received a $220 ticket.
They
Slow it
can.
down.
They can, but do you want that? Do you want them to be able to capture?
They're doing it anyways.
I know, but do you want them to? Do you want to know that they have the ability to do that, or would you rather not know that they have the ability to do that? Of course, you want to know, but
I mean,
let's fucking not even.
I don't
include that
speed,
in-
so I guess it's
Shut
not
up,
that
yes,
big
you
a
do.
deal. But I really don't. Like, when I'm going somewhere, like, I think to myself that, you know, where am I going to, if I'm running late, and let's say I'm supposed to be somewhere at 7:30, and I get there at 7:32. I've had that situation happen, and no one from the birthday council's notified me to tell me it's taken away. No one's ever tried to beat me up or, whoop my ass or anything else because I was 2 minutes late. That 2 minutes, then I'm hauling ass and getting pissed off at everybody because they're not breaking the law,
Yeah,
like,
they're not.
Right.
That
Why
2
didn't
minutes
everyone
that I
accommodate me? I'm
save,
late.
most of the time when I come rolling in and let's say you are 2 minutes late, and then the difference between 2 and 5, and you say, I'm sorry I'm late, and somebody goes, oh, I didn't even notice you were late.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
And that all that anxiety that was driven and made you haul ass and made you get there in a hurry, that you realize in that moment, that whole bad situation didn't exist. You just created it. Like, you just made that happen.
No doubt.
Nobody else created that situation. And
No
then
doubt.
a lot of times, I try to put I have trouble with anxiety. And so I literally think about it. Like, to the point from when I was like 6 years old, I carried a pocket knife. My dad used to give us a pocket knife, and we had to carry it with us. And
in case somebody
little
tries to
bitty
get
pocket
you.
knife, yeah. Well, no, it was more just like in case you need to use something. Yeah,
No,
it was
my
a
dad
tool.
gave it to me and said, if you put your finger an inch away from the tip of the blade, you can stab them over and over again. They'll let you go and you won't kill them.
That's true. That's what they do in the Marines.
That's
Marines do that a lot. I've heard.
They're gonna
I've,
let you go, but
I've heard stories of
yeah.
people do that. Anyways,
sorry, I
No,
had to
you're
throw that
good.
in there.
Yeah, no, I love hearing about life on the streets.
it's hard out here for a pimp.
Yeah, you gotta cut somebody.
You never know.
Hard out here for a
Yeah,
pimp.
playground gets rough, I guess. But we had to carry a knife with us, and I used to think to myself, because, and who knows where the source of anxiety comes from? Maybe it's hereditary, or maybe it is, built into us over time, and how we different stuff that happens to us and what goes into making you at that point. But I thought to myself, well, somebody's going to take me in the bathroom eventually, because my mom's let me know that every single time
It happens.
every single time I've ever gone to the bathroom, my mom says, and I go by myself, don't talk to anybody,
Yep.
go to the back. So when someone talks to me, oh, that's the guy that's taking me, that's the guy that's taking me. And
So
I
there's
had
a little
saw,
seed planted there from precaution.
I had saw in Roadhouse this dude use like a roll of nickels or dimes or something like that in a fight.
Yeah.
And at a young
Solid
age,
fist.
I was like, well,
Yeah.
that's the
Just
same
put
as
your
a
knife
pocket
in your
knife.
palm,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I would stand in a urinal, and I wish I could stand, and I'd put my hand down into my pocket, and I would just hold my pocket knife and go to the restroom and think, well, when, because it's not a matter
Right,
of if,
it's gonna happen.
it's a matter of when he comes to get me, I'm just going to have my hand right here, and he grabs me, and I'm just going to punch him in the face. And obviously, at the age of 7, I'm going to carry such a hard punch that I'll knock him
Problem
smooth ass
solved.
out.
He'll be.
Right, yeah.
He'll be done.
Yeah, he's probably going to die. I hope I don't go to jail for the murder that I caused, because
Right. So-
this dude doesn't realize that I've
I'm
thought
about to
this
kill
shit
him.
through. Yeah. And then, other things, like I would go into places and be like, well, when the fire breaks out, I'm going to run down that aisle, and then I'll break over here,
Right.
and I'm going to get my mom, and, and like, just weird shit.
You have anxiety
Yeah.
like that? You just you go ahead and expect the worst.
Well,
Or
it's
you-
not even a matter of like expect is, I have.
You were taught cautiousness.
Yeah, well, and
Preparedness.
people might call it ADHD. I would just call it being kind of not creative as much as a daydreamer.
I think it's
or
just hyper aware.
well, I think it paired with a little bit of anxiety helps me to just go through about 1,000 different of the worst ways in a rapid fire order,
right,
where
yeah.
I'm
Which is
like,
exactly
course.
what
here
anxiety
it goes.
is
Yes.
to me.
Here's the moment. Yep. Here's everybody coming to get my birthday. Beat
And that's
me to death
that's
with
a heavy
pipes.
burden to bear. Like,
Well,
if
and
you're
you-
constantly not worried, I know what
Yeah,
you mean,
well,
but
yeah.
but you're constantly on guard almost when you if your mind works that way. I feel like
It's
I could see that for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
it's more like a series of those episodes that we were talking about when you're speeding, when you're like,
Shit, I know I'm doing wrong.
yeah, oh gosh, oh, I forgot to do that homework, and then my English teacher comes in and goes, I'm going to give you guys another day on the homework because it was the weekend, and I forgot when I said that Friday, and blah
And
blah
then
blah.
that feeling of
And you're
relief
like,
is just like, oh.
well, because that night before I went to bed, I went, oh my god, I didn't do my homework, and then I laid there for 2 hours thinking about, well, she'll probably just
That's how
beat
I
me
am,
with
man.
canes, or I don't know what it is that.
Yeah,
because
there's not. It's futile. You know what I mean? It's not. The things that I get anxious about are things that I can't control. Like, there's nothing I can do. Worrying about them isn't going to change it. Like, whatever the outcome is from the decision I made that I'm laying awake in bed at night, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
If it wasn't going to happen, I wouldn't be anxious about it.
That's exactly. Well, and I have to have this like
Vicious circle.
realization, and you know, when I was younger, when I was in college, and I had about, I don't know, 7-8 years ago, I had. Yeah,
exactly.
What I took mushrooms, and I remember the first time that I did that, I thought, "Oh, what am I so nervous about?" Like, oh my god! Like, it just had this like really weird. Everybody else is like being silly and playing, and I'm over in the grass just like looking out at Lake
Facing your
Weatherford,
anxiety and looking it in the eye.
Well, like
That's-
I shouldn't have done them, and then.
Why not?
Well, because I mean, in the moment, I shouldn't have done them because I had to go back to Stephenville. So I had to drive from Weatherford to
Okay.
Stephenville.
That's not
Yeah.
fun.
So, yeah.
And set and setting is the second most important thing over dosage when you're doing psychedelics.
But the
Well,
randomness
and people,
is
too,
also
like,
where it's at.
People
Can't help
the
too.
people that you're doing it with sometimes, and I'm literally doing it with strangers, and I've never done mushrooms. I've never even
This
thought
is-
about doing
it's a
mushrooms.
horrible formula.
But that really, really good-looking girl over there that I've been sitting on the boat with, and kind of smooching on and hanging out
Right.
with, she's doing mushrooms. Well, I don't want to be. I mean, how many times have you
Stick
hung
in
out
mind, trying to
sober as a
impress this
ghost
chick.
around a bunch of drunk people, and you're like, y'all are stupid. Like, this
Yeah,
isn't
for
funny.
sure.
Like,
It's
I'm
not
not
fun.
having fun. Get up, like you're just getting upset the whole time. And I thought, well, I'll do it too. And I had a buddy there that's like, oh, it won't hurt you. You'll have fun. It'll be fun. It won't last very long. And so, well, I just kind of grabbed like a claw full, just like, and I see this dude across from me, he's like,
Uh-oh.
and I'm like, too much? He's like,
No,
man,
it's
you're
too
good.
late at that point. He didn't want to freak
Yeah.
you out, I'm sure, and be like, no, you just fucked
yeah,
up.
you're gonna die.
You're about to,
You're about to go to the
implode.
spirit world, buddy.
Yeah, man, you're about
Going
to go
off to the
deep
spirit
down inside
world,
some
asshole.
shit.
See the size of that chicken?
Yeah. Hello, ma'am.
She's my butterfly. That's a Young Guns reference, folks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
For some of the
But
younger
no, I was
listeners.
I was just like sitting out by this water line, and just I remember they were kind of acting dumb, and they were all drunk, and by that time I didn't really drink very much. I had already had enough bad hangovers. I was like, I don't want to do that, and it kind of, I was terrified of getting a DWI just because I figured, well, that's when they'll kill me. That's when the guillotine comes.
That's
when
how
they
they
get
you.
you.
That's
That's
the
when
straw
the
that broke
mob
the
comes
camel's
out
back.
and they light me on fire. Like, I just didn't know what.
So much guilt.
Clearly, that's the worst thing possible at that time. So I just didn't want to do that, and I was kind of thinking, well, I'm gonna go. I'm not really
gonna
feeling
go.
this at all. It's not. I guess they're not working on me because it's the first time, and I've heard that things you do the first time, maybe they don't work on you. So, anyways, I remember going to stand up, and I stood up, and I looked out over the water. About 45 minutes later, when I looked back around, because my back was cramping, and I was like, oh my God, why am I standing like, why did I just do that to my back? And I had to sit down and I lay on the grass. And that took me from, why did I do that to my back, to, why am I always so nervous? Why do I have to go to Stephenville? Nobody's there to, I live by myself. Nobody's,
It's
nobody's-
my
nobody's
belly's
waiting on
full.
you.
I feel fed.
No one's waiting on you.
I bet I could sleep here. I'm taking care. I don't have anything to do tomorrow. I'm off work. What, and all it was that I had a couple of friends that I wanted to think that I was cool, and so in my mind I was like, well, I don't want to disappoint them because then they won't think I'm cool.
Psychedelics are a weird thing, man. Especially whenever everybody else is doing them
Wasn't it
around
all?
you. When they're doing them around you and you're not, you just look at them like they're freaks. I mean, that's what I did whenever I was in high school. I saw people doing acid and stuff or mushrooms, and I was like,
Oh my God,
you are fucking out there, dude. That's
Yeah.
crazy. How
Yeah.
do you even
Yeah.
handle that?
I
But-
read
but
the
it's because of
Outsiders.
what
your,
we-
Yes.
Your brain's fried, bro.
Yeah, you're
I
fucked
heard
now.
about Pony Boy's friend that did acid. That's you, bro.
You're done. You're
Yeah.
going to the state hospital,
Yeah.
man.
I'm serious. That Outsiders, reading Outsiders in like 7th grade, imprinted again, where you just brand stuff into your brain. You know, it branded that into my brain where I was
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is that we don't know anything about it, and we're being told this is what it is.
Yeah, and they don't know nothing about
well,
it. The people
part
are
of
telling
it is
us.
who's doing it too.
Well,
So
yeah.
it wasn't like it was, you know, the best football player in our school and, you know, the coolest kids were doing it. It was the kids that were acting out in a way where they were like, I want to be different than you, so I'm going to wear, you know, black Jinkos and whatever, you know, or whatever it was at that
And
time.
so that puts
was
stigma to it as well, you know. If people that you're not like are doing it, you're like, those people are douchebags. Why? So they're doing that. Douchebags do.
Yeah,
that.
they're doing drugs. Yeah,
Well, I've
they're
been
trying-
thinking a lot about they, like the word they, and what that, like, what it always infers. Like,
Fucking
it
separate from me.
instantaneously infers difference.
Yep.
So I'm like, well, they do this. Well, even if it's different people. So if I said, you know, well, Cody and Clint, they are blah blah blah. You know, okay, that's fine, but
It's the
I've
correct
already,
vocabulary
you know,
for
it
that.
works, but a lot of times it's worked like, well, those people and they are doing this, and those, you know, we have too many of this, too much of that.
it's very generalized word. You know,
I was
you're
listening-
putting a whole group of people within 4 letters.
right.
Well, and you're
If that makes sense.
Yeah,
you
it
know
does.
what I
Yeah,
mean?
for sure. Yeah, definitely so.
well, and you're
It's
just
grouping.
Yes.
It's not just. It's also.
Don't want to label on something.
arrogantly, you know, approaching something like, well, I know exactly what's going on.
Yep.
And you know, like, I was talking to this guy about welfare one day at work, and you know, I don't care about welfare, and I don't care if people abuse it, and
Right.
people disagree with that, and. It's not that I'm just like, everybody should just be able to do what they want. It's,
Right.
Because people
Yes.
aren't made that way.
No.
Most people, whenever they're in that situation, don't like it. They want to get out of it, and they do something to better themselves. They go on unemployment because they lost their job. They get off unemployment because they got a new job. Life goes on, cycle.
Well, and
continues.
most people are trying to do the right fucking thing. I
Yeah.
honestly believe that.
I think we're all bad people
You know
doing
what?
good things.
Exactly.
Even if they aren't, you know what their punishment is? They have to live on welfare.
It's also true.
That's
It's not
their-
like you're
exactly what you fucking
Yeah.
said. That is their punishment.
Yeah.
Because they're not.
Excelling.
You
That's
make
not your goal
you make
in life.
$100,000 a year, and you're going to complain about somebody that makes
whatever.
All it is
$22,000 a year on welfare.
All it is sitting at a table with a plate and looking at yours and going, what's on his? And there's only 2 things you can ask yourself. Does he have as much as me, or do I have as much as him? And,
Louis C.K.
you know,
man.
yeah, and that is like the best way of looking at it, where you just look and you go, well, this guy, you know, they're buying it. You know what I heard? You know, I was listening to Rush Limbaugh one day because I think it's funny to
It's good to listen.
from time to
It's good
time.
to
Yeah,
listen
I
to.
like to get the perspective of people who, and he sometimes
He
I
posted
think
something
people,
hilarious
yeah.
the other day, but yeah.
But he was
never
talking about.
listened to him, but
I
I've
heard a
preconceived
story the
notion.
other day where these welfare people are buying Xboxes with their welfare checks.
No, they're not. They're
Okay.
selling their welfare and getting cash and then buying that Xbox with cash.
Okay, they're buying
Welfare is a
Xbox.
check.
But yeah,
It's like
huh?
welfare. You get a welfare check.
Yeah, I know, but people, you sell them too. So like
That's
$100
food
worth
stamp.
of
Food stamp. That's
Yeah.
food stamp.
What am
You
I
sell
talking about?
Welfare. Welfare.
Welfare's
and food
just
stamp.
cash money. See, I don't even.
Yeah,
I didn't
welfare's
know.
a
I just
check.
lumped that
You get
together.
a fucking welfare
Well,
check,
and
and then you go
welfare's-
deposit it in your bank.
Welfare's a general term that's put on a lot of
On a
stuff,
lot of
too.
shit. So you
like,
got unemployment
people
separate
that have
from
no
food
legs
stamps.
because they lost them in a construction
yeah.
accident,
Yeah.
and they're, you know, paralyzed or
Disabled-
something
disabled.
crazy. Yeah, they're disabled. Those people are often clumped into the numbers of welfare recipients.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Guess what that guy's punishment for that money is? He's fucking paralyzed, dude. You want to trade with him?
Yeah.
How about
You wanna trade with him?
how
You wanna
about
live
he
in that
gets
hood
your
house?
legs? Yeah. How about he gets your legs and keeps his money, and you get to live in a chair and have your money? You want to trade? I bet he fucking wouldn't. I bet he'd trade right now if he could.
Yeah.
You know, and people get so caught up on, well, those people are doing this and these people are doing that, and it's like, well, it's like the concept when people say that people would stop making money, they would stop earning money because the tax rate was too high. I find that to be the dumbest fucking
Ridiculous.
thing I've ever heard.
No
in
doubt.
My
They're
entire
gonna go.
life.
Okay, we're not gonna do as good at business now to get the tax break.
You know who worries about that? Millionaires and billionaires. And guess
100%.
what? Fuck those guys, because there's only like maybe not
1%.
millionaires because
of the population.
there's a lot of millionaires.
Yeah, there's
Millionaires a
probably
different
tens of
term
thousands
than it
of
was.
millionaires.
Yeah,
Right.
In 1920, it was something to be a
Yeah.
millionaire.
there's probably
but-
only hundreds of billionaires.
exactly. There's like 2,300.
And probably
or
tens
something.
of trillionaires.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. In
that's
real
the
life,
craziest
yeah,
shit.
People really
Trillion.
don't
The
The
even
people
know
that y'all
about.
don't even fucking know about.
Yeah.
They don't know who they are.
But I don't think that those people are the ones complaining about this.
They're
either.
not.
It's the people making
they're the
50,
they're the bigger
you know.
they're the medium-sized businesses of America. The ones that have that country club membership. The ones that have the employees that they know that they're going to have to put on their insurance, and all this other tax
And
regulation
I
type
understand
bullshit.
everybody's entitled to.
Everybody
how
wants to.
feel.
Everybody wants. What was I saying the other day? What's the fucking business model of America? Continuous improvement, continuous growth.
Right.
That's the wrong goddamn model. Can't live off that. You can't continuously grow. I don't, and not in my opinion, and not survive. Not
Not
and
without
not to have.
affecting.
It
with
is.
other
It is
people.
if you do it the way that they do it, and they inflate. That's the reason for inflation. I mean,
Right.
that's the reason for. Hey, we're running out of money, Fed. Can we go ahead and get a little bit more of that? Yeah,
Yeah,
sure. We'll
with the
create
goddamn
some.
bankers.
Boom. There you go. And so, like, the reason money isn't something that like we found in a chest that
Yes.
you know Joseph Smith found when he was 14 or
This is
whatever.
something.
It's something that they make, and
You literally print it.
Yeah,
you
and
print
so
it. When
it's-
you run out, you print more. The value of the dollar goes down.
the millions of dollars that were in the economy in 1910 aren't the same trillions of dollars in our economy now, and so the number has to grow because of people. And it's funny because we get so caught up and we're like, well, the government's about to collapse. They're gonna default on their on the government's gonna default. And you know what? I have no like insight into what that world is like. I don't want to pretend to be an expert and know the legalities of everything else, but who fucking cares?
It's not. How much is it going
so
to
let me
affect
get
your
this
day-to-day
straight.
life?
Probably
going to.
The machines are controlled by this omnipotent being who handles our credit, and whenever it dips down, the machine says, "No, America," and the printers in America stop working, so the government can't print money or checks anymore.
I think they're going to figure
Who
that out.
cares? We can't balance the budget. Okay, well, what happens then? Well, the government
They
shuts
haven't
down.
been able to balance the budget ever.
Ever.
That's the thing. People freak out.
What
and
it
it's-
is
it's
that we
still,
don't get
things are going to go
eaten.
right along.
What?
It's that we don't get eaten. It's that we don't have real strife and turmoil in our life.
There-
They don't have a bickering Congress in Rwanda. They have a fucking dictator, or I have no idea if that
Right,
country
whatever
does,
it
but
is.
whoever it is, they don't have the same problems as we do, and so they don't sit at a table and go, "Did you hear what John Boehner said today?" You know, and get all
About fucking
outraged.
survival.
They say like, "Hey, did you see where the trap was and the the tigers died?" You know, or whatever the problem. Their problems are so much bigger than ours, and so
This is
On-
our problems are trivial. Like,
well, we
like
just
We
ran
curate
out of
them 100%.
Our life
driving
became
in your
easy.
car and worried about getting a ticket, and somebody in the Congo is like, "Where the fuck am I getting water today?"
Exactly.
Well, our
Trivial.
life became easy in that food's readily, you know, this isn't a unique
Chucked in.
thought, you know, it's like, yeah, food's brought in.
2% of America
There's no connection. There's a disconnect.
feeds
there.
98%
At
of
one
America.
point, every American farmer fed 128 people for one farmer, and the average farmer was 55 years old. Now, those are from like 2006 and 7 stats, but that, you know, that they're getting older and they're feeding more. I'm sure it's probably every farmer feeds 170 people or some crazy number now.
And there's probably less
But-
farmers than there were.
Yeah, but
There
10 years
was.
ago.
There
But
was.
It's just that, you know, it became so easy, and so it's like, well, what do we need to worry? And that ain't, you know, that's where I start to feel like the anxiety that I have in my life sometimes is, it's not a bad thing. Like, I used to be like upset about it, and I used to take, you know, prescribed medications and stuff like that, and at a certain point I was like, well, I'd much rather be the other way.
Yeah.
Where I was worrying like once a week or twice a week or whatever, than like this all the time, because this sucks. I don't remember what day it is. I don't know what's going on. I don't like this. And so I went back to not taking anything and just started trying to figure out like, well, why am I getting so anxious about stuff?
What'd they have you on, if you don't mind me asking?
I think it was like an off brand of Xanax or something like that.
It was a type of antidepressant.
Yeah, well, yeah, some sort of suppressant, you know, something to put me down. And it was like another thing about it too was it was given to me by a great doctor who was my family doctor and was a good guy, but it was like, all right, there you go. With no like, hey, listen, now these are like going to make you forget stuff or make you, not give a shit about anything. And, if you came home and your house burned down, you're like, oh, man.
Pretty
But
much
you
just
won't
said,
have anxiety.
It said, take these.
Yeah, just here you go. And I didn't understand
that's
what they, and there was also
what they
30
do.
of them. And the prescription expired 30 days from then.
So,
So I take one of these a day. And so I started taking them like in the morning, and then like it'd be 10 o'clock, and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm sorry, I can't take those in the morning. I'll take them in the afternoon. And then in the afternoon I'd take it, and I'd kind of be zippy for a little bit, and then, at the time I was working in the car business, and I was like, well, this isn't bad. And then it was like, well, I would just start to come down and get so tired, and I wanted to go to bed, and I didn't give a shit about anything. Whatever, yeah, sure, I don't care, and just, I lost, 6 months of my life or whatever because of it. And then I was like, well, and I understand people can become addicted to it, but I didn't know. I think part of it was that I thought you couldn't. Like, for some reason, I thought you literally couldn't become addicted to that.
You would have learned if you had got more than
well, I didn't also
Like, you
have
need
any
to-
side effects. Like, I just stopped taking it, and I felt instantly better. It was like, oh my God. Like,
The fog
I
cleared.
felt like I lived in the
fog
Czech
cleared.
Republic, where it's all gray and everything. You see footage where
Fucking
you're like,
North Korea.
God, what happened there?
It's a fog. It's
Yeah,
a
and I
total
just was like,
literal, mentally, for sure. I mean, it's not you. You're not supposed to. I don't want to say that.
You're not supposed to see life like that.
Right.
If you don't need antidepressants, then you don't need to take them.
well, but there's
Obviously.
Right.
there's people that it does help.
For
There's
sure,
people
no
that-
doubt about it. No doubt about it. And I
And you know
want
what?
I want to make that statement right quick, real clear, right quick. In my opinion, I do not think that. I don't know that ADD and ADHD is 100% real. I think that people associate that with the
Regular kid
being
stuff.
being comfortable. We're just so comfortable with everything that it's. We got to find something else to have anxiety about.
search
Yeah, it's the search for
for
something.
a
Bipolar. It's real. Very hugely
Very real, but misdiagnosed,
hugely.
just like ADHD. Like
Exactly.
your kids having behavior problems.
Let's
Here's
talk-
a pill.
When your son's at home, do you make him sit still,
Never.
quietly for I don't know, 8 hours?
Never.
Okay. In 2-3 years, they're going to expect him to. And then when he doesn't, they're going to go, you know what? This kid, he's a spaz. He just can't even sit down. All he wants to do is play. Imagine that. A
Crazy.
5-year-old that wants to play.
Crazy.
And the only reason that we're in school for till 3:30 is because the work day, when they established that,
Right.
ended at 3:30
Yep.
because it started before.
Right.
Kids got up and walked themselves to school. You needed to be home when your kids came home because you had to grow up. You had to be a parent and
Taught
take
them.
care of your kids. Well, now we started working till 5, 5:30, 6, 6:30, 7, 8, whatever.
Night shifts.
And so now your kids go to school they go to a job every day because it's starting at age 5. We have jobs now.
That's
And their
all
job
it
to
is.
make-
Is pre-programming us to become part of the herd
There's no such thing as a kid.
in business.
There's no such thing as a kid.
I remember-
Do you want to just sit there? If I took you to a school and made you sit in class quietly with a bunch of your friends,
I'd be
so not
terrible
only
at
are
it.
you,
And in fact, I was.
but if you did it now, after being a grown up,
I'd be phenomenal at it.
yeah.
But you wouldn't.
I'd be great
but
at
you
it.
also wouldn't let somebody do that.
if you
to
went
you
with
either, like
all
tell
your
you you're gonna
buddies,
do that.
if you went with all your buddies, and
I'd be great at it.
in the same context, everyone goes back, and part of your 10-year reunion is that you go to another year of high school. Could you imagine sitting through a school for a year and just sitting there going, I have to fill out that cursive because this teacher said if I don't write in cursive, I can't be a grown-up. Which I've never written in cursive other than when I'm signing shit I shouldn't
As
be
soon
signing.
as I got out of school, I quit. As soon as they told me it didn't matter, I was like, I'm not fucking doing that shit anymore.
Yeah, it's one of the
My handwriting's
million
horrible,
things that I was
but-
like, wait a minute, that was bullshit. It's like,
Yeah, look. When's the last time you read something in cursive?
never in
Signs.
school.
And we've talked about
There are
this
signs.
before, but I just want to reiterate, it's fucking dumb. And somebody said, "What about reading the Constitution?" I'm like, "What the fuck do you mean? You don't need to literally read that like that.
That
print.
copy.
You can read the
You know what?
Constitution."
I'll use context clues and figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, if we can all two agree that from this point forward we'll stop using fancy handwriting I don't remember who I'm stealing this from, but somebody was like, why are we writing cursive? It's just like, you know, like.
We're pretty.
Yeah, we all know how to
fucking
write in
dumb.
print, right? Okay, yeah. We all know how to, only a select few know how to write in cursive. So why do I write in cursive? Typically, I write in cursive to show you. Look, I know how to write in cursive.
Right, cursive.
What are we, 6?
Yeah.
You know, I can write my name on a lunchbox. See? Look how awesome it is. You
Check
know,
it
like,
out.
We have no idea.
Looks floral.
Yeah,
it's fucking
but
old.
We
It's-
have the
it's
same
old.
exact behavior when we're kids, and we yell at our kids for stuff that we, you know, your wife comes in and goes, hey, we got to remember to put the trash cans out. And you go, okay, cool, whatever. And let's say this happens before you're married. And then you come home, and she comes home, and she forgot to do it. And then she eats your ass out. How upset do you get? You get really mad. You're like, you know what? I'm going to work all day. I'm doing shit all day long. Okay? Rewind back to 10 years old. Your dad says the same thing to you. Same thing happens. Your dad eats your ass out, and you go, you know what? I've got an English test tomorrow, and my girlfriend Jenny broke up with me. And, you know, we look at kids and go, you have no fun. If I could be a kid. You know what? I remember when I was a kid, it
They
fucking
have
sucks
the same
sometimes.
amount of problems.
Yeah.
They're just different.
Yeah. Tell
still
a
a
girl.
problem.
Tell some girl when she's 17 that, you know, pictures of her. I watched the 13 Reasons on documentary, or I mean,
The
on
Netflix, yeah.
And you know, in that scenario, I'm not saying that was all warranted. She should have killed herself or anything. That was crazy, but
Haven't seen it.
it's pretty
Spoiler
wild.
alert.
Yeah.
But I think they come out with that at
It's,
the beginning.
that's what the whole show is
I want to
about.
watch
Yeah,
it.
if you read the synopsis of the show, it'll tell you that's what it's
yeah.
about. Cool. But if you think to it, you're like, well, to that little girl who's never had a mortgage, she's never had a car payment, she's never had kids, she's never had any of that shit. What happened to her in that moment was the biggest thing that's ever
Devastating, right?
So-
Or happy, you know.
Yeah.
depending on- that's where I think that we lack empathy as a fucking society and species.
But we're also impatient, so we're like,
Right.
everybody be empathetic. Well, guess what?
it's getting
My dad's
coming.
generation was raised by child abusers.
Yeah.
And my
Yes.
dad's generation was also raised by child abusers.
Mhm.
And
We're-
they
we're
used
gonna
to
paint- it's
whoop
gonna-
the fuck out of their kids. They never sit down and was like, hey, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? They were like, I'm going to beat you. And so then the next generation, I was spanked. And I'm glad I was spanked because I do think that sometimes punishment like that is
Spanked,
necessary.
not beat the shit
Yeah.
out of you, know what I mean?
100%.
But
Agreed.
I remember being a kid and going back to my bedroom and saying, you know, I'm never going to do that to my kids. You know, whenever I was 10 or 9 or whatever, you know. And then as a grown-up being like, well, I deserved an ass whooping then, you know. But,
I was a shit.
yeah, you know.
Right.
And maybe what I try to do with my kids when I get onto them, I try to be like, okay, I get onto them and then, hey, come here. This is why I got onto you. I didn't want you to stick the, you know, I yelled at you for sticking the paper clip in the deal or whatever, you know, because I don't want you to see you die. And, you know, when your kids are like 2, you're just constantly trying to keep them from committing suicide.
That's all
regularly,
parenting
they're just
is
trying
keeping
to wander
another
into
human
the
alive.
street. They're trying to bail head first. They're trying to kill themselves on a constant basis. And you're just running behind them with hands and, you know, baking mitts trying to make sure that they don't fall on their face and everything else. And like I said, whenever they get to be 12, 13, 15, 18, 20, I hated when I was a kid, and I am a kid. I still think of myself
We're all grown
as a
adults.
kid. You know,
We're all-
yeah.
I mean,
You know,
yeah,
I still
grown
think
kid,
of
grown-up
myself.
kids.
Yeah, I'm a person, whatever. But
Nobody's got this
We're all
shit
grown
figured
kids.
out.
We're all grown kids.
the worst thing you
We're just
could
older.
tell me,
Bigger.
you know, as Captain Hindsight when I was 20 was, well, when I was your age, I had it figured out, and you don't have it figured out. And it's like, oh, well, thank you for that. That was helpful. So, do I pick this kid up at Target or whatever? Where's the thing that made you successful? There's nothing, no nugget of
Right.
help in there. It's just
No nugget of information that tells you,
know,
hey,
you ought to try.
I
better.
know what
Yeah.
I know what to do
Yeah.
here.
You should do better. Oh, okay. Well, that's a novel idea.
Well, yeah,
You
but
know, like-
that's how I've been reacting or responding to a lot of stuff. Is like I don't know if I was telling you a story, and it was a work story. I'm not going to get into it, but something happened. Like didn't pan out the way we planned it. You know,
Right.
some wrong material got shipped or something.
You work for the CIA.
And no, we were actually smuggling heroin.
Yeah.
No, it was 9 years ago. No, but like freaking out over that. And I'm like, dude, don't you understand? You don't want that shit to happen.
No.
Like that's not the plan. It's never the plan for the plan to not work.
Right.
And I don't think people understand that. But I've been looking at it and going, no, I'm not going to freak out about this.
Worrying is a very bad
I think
thing sometimes.
Worrying's not that bad because it also is what kept us from getting eaten by cheetahs. But
We don't have to worry about that now.
exactly, it's worrying. It's being able, like what I try to do, which I'm not always, capable of doing, is I try to go, whoa. What are we worried about? What's going on?
Yeah.
And like, what am I freaking out about right now? Okay, what's the worst case? Because usually, when I'm freaking out and I'm going through all those scenarios, or I get to the fifth scenario and I go, or I get to the very end of the scenario where the people are kicking in the door with the fire and the pitchfork, and then I'm like, oh, but that could happen too, and I don't even finish the thought. And so when I sit down and make myself finish the worst thing I can think about, I go, well, that's not realistic. That can't happen. That's not gonna happen. They're not gonna do that or whatever. And
I think I self-programmed myself to do that a long time ago. Because I think I used to worry about things like that as well. But since I not met you, but around that time, I've always been really worry free.
Yeah, laid back.
Very
you
laid
really
back,
are.
or very laid back. I've always been a laid back person, but I
worry.
I don't let things worry me.
fixed.
I say that
Yeah.
I thought I was, but I mean, a few years after I got out of high school, I mean, I got on antidepressants. I got on I forgot what it was called, but it was a lighter antidepressant, and it did Lexapro. It's called Lexapro.
Okay.
Did not work for me. Made me I was a
You
super
didn't dance
emotional
through fields
person.
and lay in bathtubs when you go
I was hoping to, but it didn't work
just in
out.
the middle of a field. Like,
I mean, I had a wash tub.
what would you think? What would you think of if you drove past down a highway in country and you look out and there's like 2 6-year-olds just laying nude in a bathtub, just like they see on those commercials? You're like, this is the most. Everybody filming this is like, this is pretend. Look at us pretending.
That's
Like,
what
it's so-
drugs do to you.
It's so bizarre. It's like everybody on this is just taking this, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what are we doing?
Antidepressants are, like I said, a great thing for some people that need them, but it didn't work for me. And back to the worrying thing is, it was, I got off of those because I did not like the way they made me feel, and I started smoking cannabis again at that time. But this was about 10 years ago, and I was smoking cannabis at that time and never looked back at them. And then life went on, got to get a job, had to stop smoking cannabis and stuff, and started drinking a lot. Got depressed.
Yeah, because it's a fucking depressant.
It was an automatic switch. It was like I had anxiety, got on the antidepressants, got off the antidepressants, went to.
But when you stopped smoking the cannabis, you quit the drug wave crime that you were doing when you were doing the.
Well, yeah,
like
I wasn't a
obviously
criminal
just
anymore.
robbing people, killing.
I wasn't a
just
criminal anymore.
Raping, pillaging.
Horrible.
I decided to
And
quit
then you
raping.
started doing the Christian thing, and we're drinking and having a good,
And it worked. It worked. It worked. I say it worked. I got by. It was. I could numb myself with the booze.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. So you ended up basically
Everybody's on
doing the
something.
same thing as you did with the anxiety medication you're on. You live in a fog. With
fog.
it. Alcohol's a drug. It's a drug.
Yep.
A
Just
legal
like-
drug,
yeah,
just like
100%.
nicotine.
It is.
But it doesn't. There's no health benefits to that. It's not psychologically or physically.
That'll be argued all day long
By who?
by people saying that there's no benefits for alcohol in use. There are a lot of people that think that.
Think
Oh,
that's
glass of wine a
beneficial?
day.
Oh,
Listen,
fuck, yeah.
if I cut my finger or I do anything like that, I always rub alcohol on it.
Yeah, that's true. That's
You
true.
need alcohol.
Nailed
It's not
that
outlawed.
one. You nailed that one.
But also, if you're using that same alcohol and drinking that same alcohol,
you got a problem.
you got a
You
real
live
problem.
downtown.
Yeah,
There's a bridge, and I know where
I
you're
got some
at.
Isopropyl alcohol from the dollar store today. We're getting fucked.
This is
up.
90%, dog.
I got some airplane glue.
She didn't even ID me, bro.
It's like crazy. You can just buy that shit.
It'll
I
make
got
you
in
go
trouble in home
blind.
ec class one time because the teacher came in. I was in home ec one time,
So did I.
and I was in the pantry looking through. I found out that vanilla extract had alcohol in it, and everybody's like, "No, it doesn't." I'm like, "Yeah, it does." And I'm in there looking, and she catches me. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm showing them this." She's like, "Are you trying to get drunk off of it?" But no, and it was a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
I was like, "What the fuck are you people talking about?"
Why would I drink this whole bottle of vanilla extract?
Don't y'all think
Why are
it's cool
your
that I
lips all
know it?
brown? You're like, huh? You look like you've been sucking on a little heroin bottle from the 1920s.
Smell
You out there.
smell like your grandma's bathroom, but you're fucked up.
That's funny.
It was a fancy one though, up in the cooking cabinet. Like you'd be like, oh look, that one's glass. It's got a metal lid on it. This shit
got a
must be
metal
expensive.
lid.
Yeah,
Well-
Mom must get the nice stuff. Look at her
Well,
go.
Miss Smith, the better question is, why do you have a fifth of vanilla extract?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be so drunk if you didn't have such a big bottle of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, whenever I was in high school, I remember kids getting high, like at lunch or something like that. And I was like, oh man, they're all going to prison.
Yeah, these
like, oh, they're
motherfuckers
gonna
are
be
sucking
dead.
it
Like,
live.
oh man, the lynch mob's coming for them, and they didn't, and I don't think you should get high at that age because a lot
I
of those
agree.
guys
Agreed.
that did that, they got entrenched in this lifestyle of being like, well, you know what, fuck it, and you can't get that. That's a tough line to
It
walk.
is.
You know, to go.
You have to take
know what?
responsibility for your life.
Well,
I'm
it's
going to
kind
do
of
that
a-
tomorrow, which comes up a lot, you know, and I'm guilty of doing it. Everybody is, where you're like, man, I know I was going to do that, and I planned on that, and I really want to, but boy, I'm going to do that tomorrow.
Okay.
You know,
Putting things
or
off.
next Monday, I'm going to get jumping on that deal, you know, and you just, you know that whatever it is not going to happen, but in your mind, you're thinking, you know, I've got this figured out if I could just put it off a little longer, and then for me it becomes an anxious thing. We're like, well, gosh, if I don't do that and I do it right, and I start thinking about everything bad. But
Well, I kind of see it as a double-edged sword. To go back to, I keep hitting my mic. Go back to not thinking. We all can agree that young people shouldn't smoke weed, but we all drank in high school. Like a motherfucker. I
Like
did
a motherfucker.
anyways. I don't
Well,
know
I
if you
did.
Brady, I'm sure.
I never
He did-
tasted.
he
I never,
wasn't a-
first time I ever drank.
He was
alcohol,
a pretty good kid, so to speak, in school.
I went to Tarleton to do like a visit with our families, and me and three of my friends from high school, and our parents all went, stay in the same hotel, rooms beside each other, the whole bit. We go to the registration. My parents meet the academic advisors. Like, it's all like a big deal.
Right.
Then that night we had friends that had graduated before us that already lived there. They graduated like 2 years before. And they had a party shack. You know, they already had it all figured out. They'd been living the college life and they had it, you know, going on. So
Figured it out.
yeah. So we all borrow one of our parents' car, go to his house. Well, he's made this stuff called pink panty dropper punch.
Oh, like
And-
jungle juice.
Yeah.
It's in a sparkle water dispenser.
Oh, wow.
And it's in a 5-gallon deal, and it's like it's trash can punch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
And,
liquor and liquor.
It's
and
liquor and
Kool-Aid.
juice. Liquor and Kool-Aid. Yeah.
Yeah, basically, you know, and every time you
Maybe
push
some
the
fruit.
deal, and it's like, bloop, 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 it's just mixing it up,
More.
and so it tastes delicious.
Oh yeah, you
And
don't
That's
know.
that shit.
Yeah,
you
you
don't know.
I mean, I had tasted beer and stuff, but I didn't like the taste of it. So I was
Right.
like, ugh, I don't want any of that, you know. And then I would when I had friends that got really drunk, and I would always be like, oh, guys, my anxiety would kick in. Hey, y'all, we're going to get in trouble. You know, I'll drive. Y'all can drink, you know. And I had fun anyways and didn't care.
See, I would think that, but then I would just get wasted and be like, "Oh,
It'll be all right. We'll
fuck
figure it
bro.
out, man. But we go to this party. I
jump off
taste
the
this-
house.
Yeah. Well, I taste this drink, and I had a couple of drinks of beer, but I had never drank. And I drank like 4 solo cups of this stuff because it was delicious. I mean, it was
Going down smooth.
delectable.
Refreshing.
You know, it was just perfect. And I'm just like, and they're all laughing their asses off. And
Because they know what's going to happen.
yeah,
They
it's
know.
made with like, you know, all these
Tequila, Everclear,
tequila,
vodka.
all this nasty beer, everything.
I threw up a puddle of cowboy Kool-Aid the size of my body one time outside of Mallory's house. I drank. It was Everclear. Mason McLean made it. It was Everclear and blue Kool-Aid.
You know
And
who
I drank
started
the
that?
whole pitcher.
Ryan started that when we were in
Did he?
high school.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we go back to I'm there, I'm hanging out with, I had a girlfriend at the time, and I was really like, oh man, she's gonna know. Like, she's definitely gonna know, you know, that anxiety kicks in. And so I'm just being a good boy and just drunk as hell. And I'm start worrying, and I'm getting sick. We go back to the hotel room. I'm like, everything's great. Everything's gonna be okay. I go into the room, I lay down, I'm holding my breath. I lay back and I go. About 30 seconds later, my dad goes, "God damn, son, what did you drink?" I was like, "Oh shoot, yeah." Oh, because they had woke up. Clearly, I'm like, coming in the room. Yeah, in my mind, I'm like
you're like Will
ninja
Ferrell on
stealth.
Step Brothers.
Yeah, I'm like, opening everything up. I go in there, boom, boom. And then I go in there and I just take that deep breath, and it just took long enough for it to linger to him.
It made it over
Yeah,
there to his
and he's
nostrils.
like, "God damn." And they weren't even really that upset, but
Yeah, you're fixing to graduate high school and go to college.
the next day, I have to get up at 8 o'clock and go to this deal, and I was so hungover, and I was like, "Why does everybody?" Because I had seen people be hungover, and I was like, "Get up."
People do this.
Yeah, well, it was more just like, "Come on," because then I would see them be like, "Y'all going to Wichita? Okay, hang on, I'll get dressed," and you're like, "I knew you weren't feeling that bad," you know, and then. Whenever I had it, I'm like, how does everybody not go to the hospital? Like, I can't stop throwing up. It was just the worst thing ever.
I mean, hangovers are brutal, man. They can be brutal.
You've got.
I had a 3-day hangover in high school from drinking Everclear one night.
Pedialyte. I
haven't
wish
been
I'd known
drunk
about
in, like,
Pedialyte back
5
then, man. I
years,
never
probably.
thought about it.
Pedialyte changes your life.
Yes,
If you
we
are an
actually
alcoholic.
survived on that Larry's Hotel pretty much.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
I brought I think I brought 5 bottles, and there were a couple more.
Yeah,
and I
we
was
ended
like,
up bought
go-
two. We went and bought 2 more.
Yeah, we bought 2 more. And
People are like, "You brought a kid?"
Yeah,
You're like, no, he's in the car.
This is grown man.
It's fine,
juice.
yeah.
Yeah, do you think I'd bring a kid in here and left him in the parking lot?
Yeah.
But I was forcing it on people. I'm like, get this inside of you now. Get this inside.
I never
of you.
did drink like even a half a bottle of it, but I took a couple good swigs
Man,
off of
that's all
it,
you
and,
need, really.
and I really regained my composure. Wasn't so hungover. It helps.
When I was having some
Part of
rough
it helps
ass
you
nights.
remember the time, though. Like, I don't remember a lot of times when I was drunk. I remember a lot of times waking up and being like, and then the next day I had to go do such and such and such, and I almost thought I was going to die, you know, and I was convinced I was alcohol poisoning or whatever. And then the next question begs, well, what happened the night before? Oh, well, this happened the night before, you know, and so that negative consequence is the only memory trigger that I have for it. So I'm just like, ugh. And we're like, let's get drunk. I'm like, that just doesn't sound like a good time. Like, but then tomorrow I'll be dead all day.
Yep.
I'll have 4 hours of fun tonight and a terrible day tomorrow. Yeah, I'm cool. I'll just hang. I can hang out. I'm fine with hanging out with people.
I gave up hard liquor. I mean, I you know, obviously I'm gonna have a drink, I'm sure, but I'm trying not to because, dude, it got to, because that's all I used to drink was whiskey and water. And then I got to Florida, I moved on to Tito's a little bit, and then I got to where I wasn't remembering shit. Like, we did a whole podcast, and I didn't remember doing it. I mean,
Yeah,
it
we were
didn't get
drinking. I mean, you were
posted.
drinking.
I drank a fifth of vodka during that
We were getting tore
podcast,
up, yeah.
And yeah, dude, it was but shit, I lost my train of thought when I said that
Going
about
back
the Tito's.
through the liquor, not drinking.
Oh,
liquor.
right. But my problem was, like, I would feel like shit, but then one other, you get through your hangover and the next day you're like, man, I guess I'll drink a little bit, you know.
You don't think about it again.
No, exactly.
You're like
And
not worried about it.
You should, because like you said, it's
brutal.
4 to 8 hours of this, and it's like a day. They last 2 days sometimes. But with beer now, like last night, we drank a lot of beer.
We floated a keg.
We floated a keg
Between, like, 8
But
of
I don't
us.
feel bad because I wasn't also going, I'm going to drink 12 beers and fucking this pint of Fireball. Because I'll do that. I did that in Steamboat.
Yeah.
Watching Roger Krager play, and I had it in, you know, it's this little bottle, not a pint. It was half a pint.
Right.
And I just drank that while I was drinking beer, sitting in the lobby at that deal.
That's a story my kids would tell third person about me the time I died. There's no way that I would he'd be like, and then he had Fireball, and then he found Jesus, and then he died in the gutter.
Actually,
like,
I wasn't
it'd be like,
I wasn't even
yeah, it'd be like, no way that I'm gonna.
I was actually drinking Tito's and
die.
water and Fireball that night. I wasn't even drinking beer. And I'm just a dick on it.
I've decided to stop drinking whiskey as well. I like you said, I may have a drink every once in a while.
Yeah, but the
I'm
way
not
that
gonna be
we
drinking
would
it.
drink, like, I mean, it just takes. I can have a great time, and it takes. Once I get over that edge, he sees it.
Well, it's
and
hard
he's
for
like,
me
"Oh,
is
fuck."
I start to get buzzed, and I'm like, ooh, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, this is just
If you
right.
could just
if
stay
I could
there.
just stay here, and then I'm like, well, you know, it's been this long. I better drink another, and then
There's no way
you know,
to
you
like
don't
gauge
realize
how
that-
many drinks you should have to Yeah, I mean, obviously, we all know the one beer per hour you can stay, or some shit, depending on your body weight. But
Which
there's
is just
no way to
something
really
that you tell
gauge
people
it.
that
You can't come back from a drunk that quick either. You know what I mean? Once you're drunk for 4 hours, man.
Yep. Hangovers are brutal.
Hangovers are a bitch.
Hangovers are brutal.
And
But
my 21st birthday, I got so drunk on Jägermeister.
oh,
That-
I don't even like smelling Jägermeister
anymore.
anymore.
I can't.
that was the shit, though. That was the go-to Jaeger bomb.
You ready to get fucked up?
Dude,
Let's
oh my
do it.
God. Like
You
you
remember?
said earlier, you don't want to show up to a party sober, but if you do, Jaeger bomb, boom.
Think about
You're there.
whenever we lived at the fucking at Arbor Creek.
Oh,
how many
fuck.
fucking handles of Jägermeister did I buy
That's
back
all
then?
we drank.
I took an 8-shot one night. There was
Oh,
we
yeah.
had a shot glass that was
It's just
8
basically
shots.
like,
8 shots. I took it all. I was like, why?
salivating.
Oh yeah, no, I'm
Jesus,
kind of
man.
salivating a little bit just thinking about that as well.
It was like the next morning. I remember washing my hair or the next afternoon, washing my hair, in the shower, and I'm put the shampoo in, and I don't know if it was just in my nostrils from throwing it up or whatever. I was convinced the shampoo smelled like black licorice. I was like,
yeah.
what is this?
It didn't
Like,
even taste good, but it went down easy somehow.
Yeah, somehow.
To where it like I said, it was that lube you throw on.
Yeah.
Like I'm not there yet, but I'm about
And
to be.
it's filtered through opiates, so we thought it was cool as fuck, right?
they're like, we're going to Red Lobster. You want to go? Like,
Red
no,
Lobster.
Oh,
no.
fucking seafood after
I'm
a
just gonna
goddamn
sleep
Jägermeister hangover.
all day today. That's all I did.
You went
the
all
next day.
podcast, not locking this thing over.
And that may we're about out of time.
Yeah, I think
anyway,
we're
so
about out of
That was
time.
actually perfectly timed.
Perfectly timed.
You're a fucking you're
I
a
meant
pro
to
at
do
this,
that.
man.
Yeah, that's what that was all
Brady,
about.
I really appreciate you coming on.
I
talking to
appreciate
us
you
about
guys
this.
letting me see it. I forgot we were being recorded for most of it.
That's
so I
good.
appreciate
That's
it.
what.
I had
That's
a good time.
Perfect, man.
Good.
I'm
Good.
I'm sure we probably met in the past. But
Oh,
it's good to
yeah,
meet you,
there's
dude.
no
And
way.
Interesting talk, man.
Yeah,
That's
for
real
sure.
shit. And that's what we're going for now.
Yeah.
It's just 100%.
We're trying to lay back on the political side, religious side, and really just focus about facts that are really matters
But if they
to
come
the
up,
people
obviously
of
we'll
the day.
discuss
Yeah.
those things. But our first guest, I thought it went really well.
Yeah.
You did a good job, dude.
Like I said,
I'm glad.
I've been
I'm happy.
listening and I've been enjoying it, and I
Fuck
was
yeah.
excited about coming on, and I had a good time. So
Well, we're
thank
glad you came
guys for
back.
real.
Yes,
Or we're
sir.
glad you came, and we'll have you back for sure.
Oh
All
yeah,
right?
I look forward to it. Y'all let me know.
Definitely will.
Heathens Podcast. We came and kicked some ass. Heathens Podcast. Back next week. We got some more shit to talk about. Yeah. Hey man, come on back. We got more shit to talk about. If you got an idea, throw it down in the comments. Let us know, man. Come on. Heathens